Hi ho everybody and welcome to Kingdom Compass TV, the show where we talk about shows all around the internet, each and every week, episode by episode. One of your hosts, Griffin. Now, Griffin Deep-Hatted with me as always, the wonderful, the amazing Mr. Mitch George. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm wearing a Stitch shirt and I'm sleep deprived. So I don't know how this is going to go, but we'll see.
I need to go back to like a bunch of our episodes and just see how many of them we start with we're running on zero energy. Because I feel like
I think that's just given the state of the world, the fact that we're here and doing things that we enjoy is a nice change of pace.
Yeah, shit's on fire again, folks. And as always, I want to remind y'all that this is a safe space for most folks. If you've, and for some unfucking godly reason, support ICE or anything that's happening right now, fuck off. Don't be here. Go find someone else. We do not want you here. Yeah, it's just been horrifying as of late, and I can't turn it off. And so I'm just going to say, fuck those guys.
Yeah, it's especially, yeah, it's a really, really difficult situation. I think I don't want to draw comparisons to other points in history or other regimes, but it's just like, at what point did people stop or start taking Germany seriously in the 30s? Because
I think the frustrating thing to me the most is that it's just gotten worse in
the
last 3 days. Like we had
between Oregon and Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota happens, then they shoot 2 more people in my home fucking town.
Yeah.
And then I'm seeing videos today of more ICE agents threatening people. It's just fuck them. Fuck you if you support them. Fuck all of this. I promise we're going to have fun and talk about Percy Jackson today, folks. I promise. I'm just frustrated.
As many of us are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to take a breath and we're going to go back into talking about the fun shit. I promise. Okay, we're talking about Percy Jackson today. That's the housekeeping. Shit's on fire. Fuck them. Go check out the other show. We're going to have another episode of that one coming soon about, what was it, 2026 stuff?
Yeah, sort of taking a look ahead at what Disney and Fox and 20th Century are planning in 2026 in terms of content. Very hard pivot to make to just have that kind of discussion after what we've just been talking about. But
and I'm sure we'll get more into the state of the world on that one as well, because we'll other
try not
bullshit.
to. It'll probably focus more on, I don't know. It'll depend on what catches fire tomorrow.
Can you tell we haven't recorded the episode?
Correct.
We'll figure it out. No, we're talking today, folks, about Percy Jackson Season 2, Episode 6, Nobody Gets the Fleece. Came out a little bit ago, a few days ago. Mitch, while I take my breath and clear my head, what did you think of this week's episode?
Not a commentary on the episode itself, but just on us doing this the way that we have. I don't think we should do this show weekly when Season 3 drops. Because I'm really enjoying the week to week, but I feel like it's not giving us a ton of content to talk about. That's totally understandable, because the way that this is written, it could have been a movie. It could have been 2.5, 3 hours, whatever it might be, or a 2-part or whatever. But I do enjoy the moments that we get here, but I don't know if it's necessarily using the medium of a serial program to the best of its ability for a show like this.
Interesting.
Where we're going to get to the next 2 weeks and have a great time. There's going to be a lot that goes on towards the end of this book. But some of these middling chapters, I think like this week, the last couple of weeks, they've been fun to watch, but it doesn't give us a lot to talk about.
I think this is less a issue with this show and more an issue with streaming. And hear me out on this. Where it is, because we have streaming shows and we know we're going to get the full season, things are good. It feels like there's less incentive for them to be like, oh, and here's the big cliffhanger for next week. And here's that. Whereas, when we're watching this on cable television, it is no, those weekly ratings still are everything to a show. Now that we have this binge watching culture, it definitely feels different, and this show definitely feels made for that a lot more. I still like the week to
Yeah.
week though, personally. I think there's enough in these episodes to get me happy to sit down and watch them every week.
I feel like this could have benefited from a mixed model where, similar to what we got with, and it's hard to compare it to this because it's a very different show, but what we just got over the holidays with the Stranger Things drop, where they dropped it in 3 parts with 3 episodes and 2 episodes, then the finale, I think did well for setting up that kind of week to week drama, even though it was, a few weeks between each part. I do think that there was enough of the story that was being told dictated where the logical separation should be. And it does feel like with this, again, it's likely just due to it being an adaptation of a novel, of chapters don't necessarily leave you with those cliffhangers all of the time because you're prone to just flip to the next page, keep going, try to finish this novel. But perhaps there could have been a few key moments in this show that would have benefited from, let's drop 2 or 3 episodes at a time, which they did with the premiere, but continue on that trend for what logical groupings might exist within this show. This definitely feels like a show that would have benefited similarly to what we're going to get later this month with Wonder Man, of dropping all at once.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to tell when the show doesn't have both. I definitely, because my problem is, like, if you look at them and, like, let's just say you drop them in 2 episode chunks, right? I don't think this and the last episode really fit together well in that kind of drop, and I don't think that the Princess Andromeda and Clarice Blows Up Everything episodes fit well together in that 2-part chunk. I think these are to credit them to the actual book, I think these are very much chapters in a story. And some things happen in other chapters, and some things happen in others. Sometimes they're slow chapters to build up to those later chapters. And I think that's just kind of what we're experiencing. We've got 2 more episodes. This definitely feels like the setup into the final arc of the season, which it very, very much is, especially with how this episode ends.
Knowing the source material, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think what this show could have benefited from, just having these last 4 episodes as an example of that first 2-episode drop felt really well together. I think if you string all 4 of those episodes together, Princess Andromeda through this, that tells a very good through story for those 4 episodes, and then drop a two-part finale. Could have worked, but again, that's just nitpicking on the release schedule. I just worry that with the release schedule the way it is, that maybe we don't see the viewership numbers that we need to get more than just this 3rd season that we know is confirmed. So I just worry for the future state of the show is that more than anything, because I still am really enjoying watching this week to week, but I could have very easily had we not been doing this, just wait till it all drops, or wait for this 4-episode drop and then wait for the 2-episode drop at the finale, and been very happy.
Oh yeah, I still think we're getting all 5 seasons of this. I think it's a foregone conclusion at this point. First season did well. This season is doing well, and they are most of the way, it sounds like, through filming the Titan's Curse, which will be book 3/season 3.
Which they got to film these things quick before these kids are in their mid-20s.
Yeah, I think they're finally realizing that. The thing I want to give them massive credit for with this particular episode, but also just with all the episodes this season, has been their sets. Season 1 did a really good job of using the volume. I think it uses it well. The volume itself is a touchy subject, it feels like.
For you, I really have no qualms with it.
More just the internet in general.
Yeah.
But they've switched this year to this season and season 3 to using a lot more physical sets, and I think you could really tell. Polyphemus's
even Polyphemus seems physical. Like, there are physical aspects of that character and the way it's being portrayed, and I think that is honestly a significant departure from what I had expected coming into the season. So I really appreciate that they've gone that route.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's a soundstage, but Polyphemus's cave is beautiful. I love this.
It's definitely well realized. Yeah.
And I love this episode so much. I think we have some of my favorite shots I've seen in the show. Tyson in the water is absolutely beautiful.
Finally getting the hippocampi.
Yeah, about time.
I mean,
the paint though for the Golden Fleece, all of this was just so fun. Tyson fighting Polyphemus. I think there's a lot of really fun here. I think this is like we mentioned this is the wind up to the final act, but I feel like
Yeah.
it's even more than that. It's the beginning of that final act because we got a bunch of action, we got a bunch of story, um, and we got
We
what
got
is
Luke coming
functionally-
back, which is going to set us up really nicely for the next episode.
We got this. This is the big confrontation for the season. Polyphemus was fantastic.
Yeah, I love what they've done with the character in this show.
I don't have, Alex Ponovich. I hope I'm saying that right. Has done
Panovich, yeah.
Panovich has done fantastic with Polyphemus. I love that he is so smart. That they have to go into this, and like Annabeth's strengths are so much better for this fight than Percy's. Mentioned that the paint for the fleece, I've mentioned it a couple times, but I love how it played out. Actually, them seeing the paint on their hands because he very clearly just painted it. This wasn't something he had prepared well ahead of time.
Which I actually think speaks well to the character, right? Because even though he is a Cyclops, there's a lot of, ingenuity here, especially with not much notice, to understanding like the party is getting close and they're likely he's going to need something that he can do to try and slow him down. And I think it was kind of ingenious the way that it all kind of came together in this episode.
We've had a really good subtle build up to this. A lot of this, I think, with Tyson, with us seeing how smart Tyson is, and Tyson also being a Cyclops.
You vamp for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
We've had this beautiful build up with that of seeing Tyson build and understand and learn, and like Tyson is easily one of the smartest characters so far in this show, with maybe the exception of Annabeth. I don't know. I even think that they're different types of intelligence. Having that build up and then into Polyphemus's tactical knowledge and his building of traps and his cave and having this entire setup, I think is very, very, very well done in all of this. Something I think I really kind of admire about this show is how it's managed to do a lot of that kind of stuff. And he is still not back yet. Damn. Oh, I need a breath, folks. I need a breath for just a second. All right, we're back. Yeah, all of that's really good. Grover, finally getting Grover like properly in an episode. I mean, don't get me wrong, we got him in the first episode. We've had him in the empathy links, but like actually having him in person with everybody else, I think was incredible. I love having him there. Him and Clarice, I think, are a really great match. Just because they are so different, and like them being kidnapped together, I think is both comedic and also makes a lot of story sense. I think it's really well done in that regard. What else happened in this episode? A lot of things happened. I want to kind of wait until Mitch is back to talk about Luke and his evilness. The sheep stuff was fun. All in all, I love how much of this is just let's throw out references to the Odyssey. That's what season 2 really is. And the Odyssey, I think, is one of the greatest stories ever written. So, yeah, of course, I love the Odyssey-themed stuff. And looks like Carmen's sitting down. Hi, Carmen. She's putting on Mitch's headphones. I'm narrating all of this. Mitch has now walked back into the room.
Mitchell's, he had an accident.
Nothing.
He had an accident.
No.
What did Mitch
What are
do?
you doing? That's my snack. That's my pop. What the heck? Can I have my desk back? You know this goes on YouTube, right?
Oh. Well, he can edit it out.
No,
I'll
I
edit it
can't.
No.
We don't edit this.
For Carmen, I'll edit it out.
Well, that's definitely going on TikTok.
Just for her, I'll
damn
edit it out.
No, don't. No, she deserves that.
I was talking about how we had this awesome subtle build-up with Tyson's knowledge to get to then to Polyphemus's knowledge.
Do you not? You tell me to go talk to Griffin?
You could if you wanted to.
Yeah, you said go talk to Griffin. I said okay.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, can I go back to doing this now? All right, cool, bye. Sorry, what?
I love that I picked up all of that.
Of course it did, because that's my life now.
No, I was talking about how Tyson and Polyphemus were like fantastic foils against each other, and like how one's
Yeah, I
intelligence
mean,
is
I want,
very similar
I
to
just
the
want
other.
more. I want more Tyson. So glad I got more here, but obviously, like
So we need the Tyson miniseries.
even more, 100%.
I want the Knuckles equivalent to Tyson's show. That's a very specific
Does
reference.
that also include a rock opera that involves puppets? If so, I'm 1,000% in.
Dude, that show is a fever dream.
It's so good.
It's so good though. It in the rankings of my Sonic like fandom for the shows and movies, it is number 3.
Only ahead of Sonic 1, I'd assume.
Yeah, only had a Sonic 1. Sonic 1 is at the bottom.
Yeah, I would think similarly. We'll do our definitive Sonic ranking eventually, just like we're going to do our definitive. What do we say? What did I sign you up for last week? We were chatting top 10 movies,
top
top
10
10 shows.
You said
or
we're for a
top
lot
5.
of top 10s like all together at once.
And then we're going to do our MCU ranking finally.
The MCU ranking is going to be chaos.
Oh, I can't wait. Cannot wait.
But yeah, all this, and I think the big thing for me in this episode is the addition of Luke.
Yes, I think what we got with Percy and Luke and the idea of using the fleece no matter what, like we saw Percy's fatal flaw here on full display.
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was coming, right? Like, it's Chekhov's gun, right?
They did too much to set it up last week for it not to happen.
Not even last week, but like going back to episode 3 when they talk about the prophecy. Like, they've been building to this all season. We knew this was going to happen at some point. And of course, it was going to be with Annabeth. Who else would it be with?
Had to be.
I love this, though. I think Luke has 2 fantastic aspects in this, of this part, but also the beginning, like his conversation with Annabeth, by the sheep and stuff through the Iris message is so good. I love that it's like so much of the season for Annabeth has been her coming to terms with Luke.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing with this is, at least in the current conflict that we have, the thing I like most about Luke at this point in the series is Luke's not wrong, right? Like, again, it's another one of those villains. Again, this is young adult television novelization, whatever you want to call it. But you look at a villain like Killmonger, a villain like Thanos, and they're not wrong. So it's easier to relate to a villain that isn't wrong in their motivations. Obviously, that could change as the series progresses, depending on how closely they stick to books or how much they deviate. We'll see. But like, that's the most interesting thing about Luke. And I think I touched on this a bit last week. Like, Percy would be Luke if Percy's main influence was Kronos and not his mom. Right?
Yeah, it's something
like,
I bring up a lot.
There's not a lot
like,
that separates these two, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, it's something I've brought up like almost every episode is how similar they are in ideology, and that's what makes Percy Jackson work so well. One of 1,000 things. But I think we really see it on display here, and the fact that, like, even in this moment, Luke still cares more about people than he does about the overarching goal of Kronos. That will change as things go on, especially if they stick to the books. No future spoilers.
We're doing a pretty good job of spoiling without spoiling.
I love how vague we have learned to be with this show, and it's kind of impressive, frankly. No, like, that's kind of still one of those core things to them, is to both Percy and Luke, and really most of the characters in this, is the people matter first. Demigods matter first. Not the gods, not the quest. It is the people you're on it with. And I think that that's such an important message for everybody, but also something that really makes me adore these characters, because it comes down to I root for them because they care about each other. And like, I think that's why Percy's fatal flaw in giving away the fleece is so relatable. It's because we ultimately just care about people.
Yeah. And again, it does more to further the plot. It gives us more to explore in the next couple of weeks. It sets up where Percy is going to be going into the next book, going into the rest of the series. And I think it feels honestly more on display here than it was in the books. It's a lot more in your face about it. So I do think that with some of the foreshadowing that they have done, both with this and other aspects of Percy's character, that it's going to be very interesting to see how Walker and the writing crew and Rick Rick Riordan and the director, the creative team here, change what is a very traditional hero's path story to modernize it in a way, because like these books came out 20 years ago. I think there's a lot that they can do to stick to that traditional story, but also deviate in aspects that make Percy a more relatable, an easier character to root for, or an easier character to relate to, as there are, there's yin and yang when it comes to Percy and his friends and this story and this mission that he's on.
I really hope they don't change too much. I think the things that they have changed have mostly just been for this is what storytelling is, both in terms of 2026 as well as TV versus book. Like you mentioned, a lot of this is a lot more in your face, and I think that speaks more to media literacy at the moment than it does to the show. We need to be told that this is the good guy, this is the bad guy these days for some reason.
I mean, this book was all like, this is a young adult show, and it was a set of young adult novels, so it is still very binary and like this good guy, this bad guy.
I was gonna say,
and why?
But even back in the day, these were not exactly subtle books.
No, there's not a lot of like, I compare these. So I am not a very deep reader when it comes to fiction. I'm very much more on the nonfiction path when it comes to looking to broaden my horizons and understand theming and historical and like aspects of things and stuff like that. When it comes to novels, it was like it was the witch wizard books that shall not be named. And then as an adult, it's been mostly like my fiction is mostly popcorn fiction, where it's been mostly Dan Brown's books, the author of Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, etc. They're not deep books, but they're fun. And this is another series I would put in that same bucket, where there isn't a lot of depth here, but it's still really interesting to delve more into this.
I think there's more depth than we give it credit.
Greek mythology.
I think the depth is there, but it's for very specific characters. It's for Percy, it's for Annabeth, it's for Luke.
It's for the big three, yeah.
And we haven't gotten to it, but I will just say it because we know the character. It's also for Thalia. Like that's
in what we've seen of Thalia to date, and in her journey with Luke and Annabeth leading up to camp. Yes, it absolutely.
And remind me, did you read the Heroes of Olympus books?
I read the first one, but it has been a long time since I've read any of these books.
So I think the Heroes of Olympus books also add a ton of depth to those characters as well. That book gets really into the weeds of these characters in a beautiful way. But for me, and I think it's okay. I think that this is what this show is, and this is where it's at. Yeah. I think also, though, when this came out, Percy was not your stereotypical hero. I think when because oh god, I'm gonna hate myself for looking at this date.
He's a reluctant hero in all sense of the word.
In 2005, when this book came out, I do not like
21 years ago.
Do not like that at all. 2005 to 2009, by the way, he released one of these every year. Yeah, he's a reluctant hero, but more than that, he is not your prototypical hero of say the right thing, do the right thing because it is right. And I think that's significantly more common now. I think people have learned like that makes for a far more interesting hero. So it is kind of your prototypical hero now. But it's just something I want to point out, folks. For this is not normal in 2005. 2005 was still your prototypical hero is Superman. So,
it was very novel at the time, especially in young adult literature.
Yeah. We got 2 more episodes coming with this, Mitch. We got I Go Down with the Ship in the Fleece Works Its Magic Too Well. I would venture a guess to call it that. I think I've called this once already, but episode 7 takes place on the Princess Andromeda. Episode 8 takes place at Camp Half-Blood.
Seems pretty reasonable assumption to make, and we'll see where that goes in the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. I am incredibly excited. We got these last 2 left. Particularly interestingly, the writers on these that I want to call out. The writer on episode 7 is Tamara Becker Wilkinson, who was the head writer on We Board the Princess Andromeda. So, while I do hope for mostly, conflict and whatnot, I hope we get a little more of, here's this weird cruise ship because frankly, it was kind of fun to see. And I cannot wait for that cruise ship to go down. And then The Fleece Works Its Magic Too Well is being written by Craig Silverstein, who was the co-writer on the intro.
The season premiere of season 2, as well as episode 8 of season 1.
Yeah. So, which makes sense. He's kind of been, let's hop in when there's Chronos stuff. So, and I believe then that also he had some other role on here.
He's a producer as well.
He's one of, oh yeah, there we go. He's one of the showrunners.
Yeah.
As well.
With Tamara Becker Wilkinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of fun stuff happening. Cannot wait to see that. But that is obviously for next week. These are short episodes. So thank you very much for listening. We will see y'all next time. Until then, be good to each other and have a magical day.
Yay, Rainbow.